While doing the wig for my New Year's Eve doll, I started to think about something, because it gets more and more difficult to get hair. The doll hair emporium doesn't really have that much anymore, and yeah, the next option would be to order something from America, which difficult, expensive. So the original idea behind this rhinestone wig was to have an alternative, to try out some stuff, maybe to be able to use something different from time to time. Not all the time. I want to stay with hair most of the time, but you know. And yeah, the first attempt was the rhinestone wig, and the one I made for my New Year's Eve doll was quite nice, but it turned out shorter than I liked. So I made a second one. And overall it's the same, making a wig cap out of tulle and then tulle and glue, cutting it to size, gluing on rhinestones. En gros. For this one I did it in 2 layers, so I had a little bit more of rhinestones there. And from there I thought, what else can I use for making wigs? I came up with in total 5 different ideas, counting the rhinestone wig as well. And I just wanted to show you all of the results, and if you have one you really like and would like to see on a finished doll, let me know. I really would like to know your opinion on this. So, yeah. First we have the rhinestone wig. Well, basically more of the same. We already had something like that for New Year's Eve. But, you know. For wig number 2, I then used fun foam. I think it's fun foam in English. Those sheets, I think this was 2mm thickness. And I first tried to make a nice looking contraption out of the fun foam strips as a wig cap, and then decided to glue pieces in any way to have a full wig cap. So trying this first was unnecessary. But I then took more of the foam and cut it into strips, and I tried to make them very even and very thin and so on and so on, and then I tried to glue that onto the wig as strength of hair. And I do like the result. I did see a lot of drag wigs being made like this. But what I didn't really like was that I really made everything straight. I should have played a little bit more with waves or something like that. Looks like I lost most of the footage of it, but you know, you can imagine how I glued on foam there and draped it somehow. And to hide the ugly parts I just stuck on some beads, and now it looks like toothpaste with gumballs. I might really need to revisit this with not so regular strength. Then I reached a point where I decided, okay, I now need to try out different glues for the base caps, because I wasn't really able to get the aluminium foil out of the foam wig, so I decided to run a little test. The 3 contestants were jewelry glue, textile glue, and white crafting glue, so I guess PVA glue. Anyway, I did spread all 3 on top of the hats, leave it to dry, did a second coat. And I have to report, the cheapest versions, so the textile glue and the craft glue, were the best to work with later, because they were still flexible enough to work with and not, but still kept their shape. The jewelry glue one was weird. So if you plan on doing something like this, I recommend crafting glue or textile glue. Thanks for your attention. So, what was the next thing I decided to put onto these, you might ask? Maybe not. Don't know. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to put on these was fringe. Like cloth fringe, tassel-esque stuff. I'm just a little bit confused because fringe is also what you call bangs, isn't it? Anyway, I think that is a fringe. I layered that in a way so you basically have a mohawk, and I did think it looked quite cool until I did the top. Then I was not so sure anymore. I do have to admit the final result does remind me of the crown-esque thing Vaiana, Moana, I have no idea which is the right version. We had to call her another way in Europe, so... But I think you know who I mean. Wears in the Disney movie at one point the headpiece. But yeah, overall, I think it's quite funny. I might like it more if I would have cut it to a more smooth surface, but I kind of enjoy the hard layers as well. So yeah, I'm very interested in your opinion on this thing. but I think it is kind of fun. As my next attempt, I used some cord, ribbon, I don't know how to refer to this. Basically 3 pieces of a cord, or yeah, something like that, mantled with a fiber that is glossy and then twisted together. I don't know. I refer to it as a cord. First I thought I want to do it like a short hairstyle, like finger waves or something like that. But already when I started I noticed, no, I want to try something else, and I opened that, and because it was twisted for so long, obviously you have these very wavy pieces that I then stitched onto the back as long hair, and then I used the whole thing and did a little bit of a wave. Not as much as I initially wanted, but for that I guess a thinner ribbon would have been better, or a thinner cord. This one was quite thick. It was thicker than I thought it would be. So yeah, the top part I tried to do a wave, but then I just layered it around and covered the areas where I stitched on the longer parts, and I think it turned out quite fascinating. When I was done, I thought a mermaid with this would look cool, and you know that I don't really do mermaids, so yeah, let me know what you think about this one. I would say from the ones I made, this is the one I think has the most potential. Even though I would never do a pink version because it would look like a brain. Next attempt was one with little jewelry metal pieces. They were teardrop shaped, a little bit rounded, and yeah, I thought it would look a little bit like scales when you stitch them on, and it was quite nice, but I ended up having not enough of them, so yeah, I did film the result because This took forever. But because there weren't enough, I wasn't really sure if I should include it, and I thought the texture itself was quite nice, but yeah. You could see too much of the wig cap for my taste. Anyway, I removed all of them, did a second one with the fringe because I had enough, which looks even worse. Yeah. And with that, I basically was done with my experimentation. Here you see all of them together. Let me know which you think I should revisit, and we will see us in another video. Until then, bye!